Okay, so welcome. I am Shirley. I'm from Two Birds, London, and today we are with some of Team Orion from Lee Valley. So hopefully you can see them all. They're waving. They're going to quickly introduce themselves. This isn't obviously everyone from the team, but we've got, I think, 5 or 6 of them with us today, and they're going to answer some questions that you guys have put to them. And hopefully get to know a bit more about them and a bit more about what synchro skating is like. So maybe we can start with Jamie.
Hi, my name's Jay, and I'm one of the captains of Orion. I've been with the club on and off for about 16 years. I calculated it roughly.
Hi, I'm Harriet. I'm the other team captain, and I've been with the club for about 5 years.
So Holly.
I'm Holly. I've been with Orion for about, I think, 4 years now. I think this is going into my 5th year.
Denise.
Hi, I'm Denise. I started skating about 2 years ago and joined Orion about 2 years ago.
Cool. Hayley.
Hi everyone, my name is Hayley and I've been skating with Orion for 1.5 years now. Yay.
You're obviously not British, so where are you from, Hayley?
Yes, I'm Canadian and I grew up skating in Canada as a kid and decided to get back into it as an adult.
Cool. And Dawn?
Hi, I'm Dawn. I joined Orion 2 years ago now, but I've been skating for about 40 years or something like that. Very, very long time.
Cool. So hopefully that's given you a quick introduction to some of Orion, and welcome to you all. So happy to have a team this year. Synchro is very close to my heart. I have been part of the Synchro team in the past. I'm not at the moment for various reasons, but I have in the past. I really, really wanted to sponsor a team this year. Logistically and financially, it's quite difficult for me to do that, which is why I haven't done it to date, but I'm very happy to have you guys as the first team. So without further ado, I'm gonna whiz through some questions that some of the followers on Instagram and Facebook have posed. And you guys can tell me what you think, what your answers are. I don't know what you're going to say, so hopefully this will be as interesting for me as it is for everyone watching. So first question was, what has inspired you to start skating in synchro? So obviously most of you probably started in some sort of learn to skate course. Maybe you skated as a child and then got back into it as an adult. But what made you start doing synchro?
I have a fun one about this, and this is a real story. It's a bit cringy. The reason I wanted to do synchro is not, I didn't know about it before I started skating, which was only about, I don't know, 5 years ago, a bit longer maybe. And I have to say, I saw Harriet, our captain, and I used to skate on a Thursday night, and they would always be doing these fun things in the middle. And I was like, I want to do that. I want to be part of that. It looks really fun. And then I forced myself upon them, and then they said, oh, that's synchro. And then I came to the team, and then I just fell in love with hanging out with loads of really amazing people, and I just enjoy the challenge of it. But yeah, I blame Harriet personally. Sorry, Harriet.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Right.
Yeah, I had a similar thing. I saw a synchro team and Taryn at the rink, and I thought, if other adults can do it, and I just started to learn to skate, and I thought, why not? I just went along one Saturday afternoon and thought, oh my god, this is terrifying, but I loved it.
My situation was that I'd had a really big life-changing experience that left me at a bit of a crossroads. And sort of rebuilding your life in your early 30s can be quite challenging, especially when all of your friends might be at different stages of their life. So I was like, I used to skate as a kid. I really love it. I want to meet new people who have similar interests to me. So why not give synchronized skating a try? And I was like, I'll go for 1 session. And if I hate it, then I never have to go back. Like, I'll just go for it. And needless to say, I loved every second of it. And now some of my closest friends, many of you are talking to right now, I've met at synchro. So yeah, synchro saved my life.
So, I mean, I think most people probably know what synchro is, but does someone want to just explain very briefly exactly what synchro or synchronized skating is, what it consists of?
Come on, Jay.
Oh, thanks, Harriet. It's a group of skaters varying in between, it can be 9, 12, 16 skaters, all skating, all doing the same steps at the same time to a piece of music, which is all choreographed.
Excellent, thank you. So, so that kind of neatly brings me on to a couple other questions that follow on from that, which is, what is the process for choreographing new routines? Is it the team that does it? Is it your coach? Do you have a choreographer? How does that happen?
We have our amazing coach, Chrissy, who choreographs our programs for us. But she does always like to ask us if we've got any ideas or things we want to bring to the table. She always asks us for songs we like when we're thinking of a new program as well. And then she is the music maestro and puts it all together. And yeah, she's the man behind the curtain that does all the puppeteering of us.
So it's quite complicated when somebody's when a coach or a choreographer is putting together a synchro routine, isn't it? And working out how the different shapes that you make blend into one another can be a real skill in itself, can't it?
Yeah, and having to put people in the right places where they'll feel comfortable. If people aren't as confident at going fast, then they, prefer to be on a slower end of the spoke or something like that. It's not always possible, and sometimes she's just like, get on with it. But she tries to choreograph it in the best way so that it showcases everyone's skills and no one feels uncomfortable.
Cool.
And she really taking on our feedback as well. Like if we're on the ice and something just doesn't feel right and we say, hey, can we try this? She'll let us give it a try and experiment a bit with the routine, which is really fun. And if it works, and we'll add it in, which is great. So yeah, she's great at taking our feedback on board too.
So it sounds like a real collaborative process between the team and what you can do and what works, but also her, from my coach's point of view, choreographing the routine for you. So ultimately, who picks the music? Is it everybody together, or does it come down to her? She makes the final decision.
We get to vote. We get to vote. So we get to put in our own decision, our own questions, and we get to have maybe 2 or 3 questions, but you also have to say what the program would be about. So it's not just, I like this music. It has to be, my theme would be this, and maybe my costume would be this. And then Chrissy will then look at them all together collectively and say, right, okay, I don't know if that'll work or this will work. And then she gives us back out the thoughts again, and then we get to vote on them. It's a good process.
So how do you then, because obviously when you're skating, whether it's solo or in a team, costumes get very important to everybody. Everybody likes a nice costume. So who decides on the costumes? Is it you guys? What happens with them?
Well, for the last costumes that we had for our Prince ones, our last team captain, Pat, who no longer skates with us at the moment, she designed them and collaboratively with Chrissy, so they'll like speak about it together and come up with a concept, and then she did show us the sketch and everyone was happy with it. So it is another collaborative effort, so it'll be exciting to do that again when we get a new program.
How long do you keep your programs for? Do you get a new one every year, or?
Normally it's every 2 years, so that we get a good run of, keeping the music. Obviously we have to change parts of the program when the new rules come out, but it gives us a chance to really get our teeth into the program and do as much with it as we can. And obviously it's expensive, to provide costumes for that many people at once. So our club kind of does it in a way that half the teams get new costumes one year, then the following year the other teams will get new costumes. So it's fair that way.
Mm-hmm. And that, again, thank you very much. That neatly brings me on to another question, which is, somebody's asked about how synchro is judged, but actually I think before we get to the judging question, I think it's probably interesting to talk about the elements within a program, because when you're a solo skater, whether it's dance or free, you have things like step sequences and certain moves like that that you have to complete in your program. Synchro doesn't have step sequences as such, but you do have other elements. So does somebody want to jump, or a couple of you want to jump in and explain what the key elements are and how you put those together, or maybe not put them together, but like how they work within the routine? Holly's
So the elements, they change every year depending on the rules. We always have like a formation, and in the formation we'll be doing something. So for example, you'll have a block, and this year our block was pivoting across the ice, and sometimes whatever blocks have we had, like we had one in space which wasn't a pivoting block, it was something else block. I can't remember. Am I going mad? Probably.
I can't remember. Did we do like a circular block?
Yeah, I think we did do a circular.
I can't quite remember, but yeah.
And then we have like wheels, and sometimes the wheels are just static, and so within that wheel we have to do certain things to get the levels up, but other times it might be the wheel has to travel, and it applies to a circle, it applies to a line, and then we also have like a creative element of some description. So this the past 2 seasons we've done creative intersections, which have been really fun, where you can just go a bit wild and try something really interesting, which is nice.
And how does the judging work? Does that work broadly the same as solo skaters, or is it completely different for synchro?
It's a very long, complicated process for synchro, because I feel really sorry for the technical panel because they have so much to look at all at once. So that's why sometimes our scores take ages to come out. I mean, quite rightly, they've got a lot to look at. But yeah, so the element will be scored on a level basis by the technical panel, and then the judges will award GOE. So then they'll say how well we did it. So we might get a level 3 wheel from the technical panel, and then the judges will give us plus GOE if it was good, or if it was bad, they'll give us minus GOE. So it kind of works similar, but there's so many extra little bits to it.
And also, ever gone from being a solo skater to skating as part of synchro, the 2 experiences are completely different. And you might feel very confident as a solo skater, but once you go into a synchro block, it completely changes the experience, because at that stage, you're no longer skating just on your own and thinking only about yourself, but you're thinking about your entire team around you, not just those that you're connected with, or in, as we say, in hold, but those who are in front of you, behind you. And it completely changes the experience, and one very enjoyably so. So someone can be a really strong solo skater, but once you get thrown into the middle of a hold with your synchro team, it can completely change the skating experience. And I really feel like it helps to make us all stronger skaters, because if you can skate with a team, you can certainly skate on your own.
And it also helps in confidence in terms of competing as well. If you could be a strong solo skater, but never want to compete on your own because you're not confident enough. Whereas, being to actually get out there and say, right, so I'm not by myself, I've got 15, 16 other people here to work with.
Yeah, that's a good point, Dawn. So what happens, this is a question we've had, is what happens if one of the team misses a step or trips? Do you try and improvise to support that mistake and cover it up, or do you just have to continue?
Carry on.
Carry on, yeah.
Carry on.
Keep calm and carry on.
The worst case scenario, a trip can be, if you've got a really good upper body, then obviously you can sort of get away with certain things. but if you make an expression to say, oh my goodness, I've tripped, you've just got to keep that smile all the time, which is really hard, because most of us, I think I'd say majority of the team are very expressive, but you've got to keep that smile and just pretend as though you didn't. But the worst case scenario is someone actually falls. And the golden rule is, as Dawn quite rightly said, you just let them go and you just carry on, and they have to get up as quick as they can and rejoin you.
Yeah.
And that's quite difficult to actually jump back into the routine, is it? Depending on what shape you're making at the time and where their position is, it can be quite hard to get back in the right place, can't it?
Yeah.
And it has happened to us.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did it at the Nationals. It was horrible. But I got back in.
You did.
It was right at the end, Holly. It was right at the end.
It was at the end. I got back in. It's fine.
I think the worst one would be is if we ever had a domino effect. If something fell in a block or something, and that takes the whole line out.
Yeah. Luckily, that's not happened.
No. Yeah, you often wonder how that's never happened, but it's always only just one person. Because everyone, I have in the past, you know, if you've got good strong upper body, you try and support people, and if you can feel them, then you try and hold on to them a little bit tighter than you would normally.
Because you're in very close proximity when you're skating in synchro at particular times, but often kind of only the width of your arm, and then you're touching the next person. So that's fine if you're just kind of just skating forwards, but when you're trying to do steps and turns and things like that, within that, being that close to somebody can be quite scary, really, can't it?
Yeah.
We're all nodding. So
sorry, I was just going to say that because we work together so much, we just get used to it, and you just get used to being that close to each other. It's actually weirder when we're as close to each other. Like now, it's really weird not seeing everyone, and I'm sure we all miss each other a lot.
When do you normally train then? What are your normal training times?
Go on, Denise.
Oh, now you've asked me. We normally train on Wednesdays from 7, right? For 45 minutes on the ice, and then our main training is on a Saturday. So we have off ice first at 12, and then we get on the ice at 1.
And how long are you on the ice for on a Saturday?
An hour.
Of course, you've got kind of an hour and 45 on the ice, and then an hour off ice in a week.
So we have off ice first, and then we have an hour on ice after, which is quite good because Jay really works us hard on off ice first, and we get on the ice all warmed up.
Yeah. And what's happening with training at the moment? Because obviously everyone's in their individual houses. Are you doing virtual training, or what's happening?
Yeah, pretty much virtual training, yeah.
And are you putting a new routine together?
At the moment, doing off ice and loads of strength work at the moment, and then just seeing what's going on from there.
Cool.
Yeah.
So some quick fun questions to finish with then. Favourite programme?
Well, mine's been Prince. Well, I've only done 3 programmes with Orion, but Prince has definitely been my favourite.
Fun, just like us.
I think for me, Prince is definitely up there. But when I first started, I think it's because when it's your first routine, I think you don't forget it. And we did to the musical Chicago, and we wore black velvet. And in those days, we were allowed to, I don't know, obviously the level now is so much harder than when I started. So I've had a steep learning curve, but that Chicago and Prince, definitely. And Michael Bublé, sorry. That was another good one.
You just love them all day.
I know, it's really hard because I also like the space routine we did, but it's really hard. It's so hard to choose sometimes. Favourite costumes?
So
Yeah,
The
space
routine.
I feel like we need to know what these space costumes looked like. Can you describe them?
They were like a galaxy print all over. And then they had black mesh sleeves with like some diamantes on the planets. They were really cool. We'll have to upload a picture onto Instagram.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Like a throwback costume.
What is your favourite competition and why? Where do you like going?
Last year, but it was really good to travel to Eindhoven last year.
Oh, so good. Eindhoven was so good. It was like a really nice team bonding weekend as well.
Yeah. And last question then, to finish off, a bit of a fun one. What is your favourite song to sing along to on the bus on the ride to the competition?
We'll pass you over to Hayley.
I think that's Hayley's job.
I'm so glad that you have asked. This is our favorite question. So I think it's worth mentioning that Team Orion actually has a fully fledged team song, as well as a team cheer. And so not only do we, yes, all of us, this song everywhere we go, but very specifically, we always sing this song and our cheer right before we step on the ice to compete, and as soon as we get off the ice and into our change room. So
We need to hear it.
yes, both. I'm going to sing both for you today. Okay. Because we're best friends first and skaters second. We like to hang out and do traveling circles. We also have a wicked egg beater. We're so awesome. We thought you should know. Orion, Lee Valley Adults for the win.
Yay!
So yeah, this is the song we sing before we get on the ice to compete, as soon as we get off, and basically any moment where no other sound is being made, someone will be singing it. And I've really found that actually having a team song and cheer has brought us all closer together, and it really changed the dynamic this year. And yes,
Is that
it was
new then?
pardon?
Is that new?
Ish. The cheer started last season, so ORION, but the song was new this year. And I really feel it was the team song that took things to the next level. But it was really great at our final competition of the year, which was Sheffield. I think one of my absolute highlights of skating in Orion this season was when we all got into the change room, and with our coach Chrissy, which was amazing in and of itself, is we all got in, and together at the top of our lungs, we belted out our song and our cheer. And it was just such a wonderful moment to share with our teammates.
Aww. Well, thank you so much, guys. Really appreciate you all joining us and sharing a bit more about Orion. I'm hoping we'll be able to do another one of these sessions maybe later on in the year. So I think it's a great way to get to know you guys, not just for me, but for everyone who's watching. I think it's been really, really great to see the people behind the team. I think there's a risk with the team sponsorship that people know the team, but they don't get to know the people. So I'm really glad that we've had this opportunity, and thank you so much for answering everyone's questions. I hope we can do it again, and yeah, thank you.
Thanks, Shirley.
Thanks a lot. Organising.
Cool. We'll see you soon.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.